What up, guys? It's John with National Sports Entertainment, and I wanted to go into tonight's games, and then last night's games, and we have about 10 college games for tomorrow. So we actually had a good day outside of this. Is they say inches. It's a game of inches. As far as the night tonight, the Hawks Wizards was a close one. That one was a It's interesting, actually, because we picked the Heat to cover the Hawks a few days ago, and the Hawks hit like a 35-footer at the buzzer to cover, and now we had the Hawks covering the Wizards, and the same thing happened, but it was against them. But that happens, Now that's why we don't chase. We closed it out at 7 units, but we did miss that. We missed the Heat. Both were close ones, but we didn't get it. We finished strong. We were able to get the Bulls, Suns, and the Clippers at the end of the night. They were like twos. So we were able to mitigate it a little bit. Still not a great day, but like I said, we're not going to net positive every single day. Now, as far as tomorrow, we have, like I said, around 10 college plays, whether it be teams that are just really good on the over-under, whether it be a weird-looking line. A weird-looking line would be I would say an example of that would be the West Virginia game here. I think a lot of people are going to be on Kansas there. And there's a few like that. I just try and look through them, and I feel like there's a few where there's going to be people really on one side versus the other. So here's our plays. So like I said, some are metrics, some are because I just think it's a weird line. The first one I like UAB and Rice to go under. Both of these teams are around 70% on the over this year, and you just typically don't have this many teams finish above 70% on an over or on an under. It just typically does not happen. So I don't foresee it happening. So I went with it for a leg 2 because I could make it a leg 1, but I just think it's a better leg 2 because, again, we have 2 teams now that are hitting the over at quite a frequency. So I do think that there's going to be a lot of people slamming the over with these teams. So UAB Rice here, we're going to pick it to go under. And again, you just plug it in for any leg 2 loss. So right there, we lost the Rockets the other night, plug it in. So Celtics Blazers, we got that one. The next one I like here is East Carolina and USF. I like them to go under. It's the same principle. I like it as a leg 1, not a leg 2, but same principle. USF's around 70%, ECU's in the high 60s. Usually these things wind up balancing out, and the playoffs a lot of times is when that will happen because you're going to get the most action. Then we got Grand Canyon in Seattle, and Grand Canyon's not nuts on the over. But again, it's another one where just looking at the teams on paper, I feel like it's when I checked last, it was in the 140s, which is usually I would expect it to be closer to the 150s. Almost like they just want people to hit the over on this one. So I like Grand Canyon there to go under. Next is my favorite play of the night. It's Tulsa to cover Wichita State. It's because Tulsa is just garbage. People have watched Tulsa look terrible all year long. We got this one. And I just don't expect many people, if at all, to be on Tulsa. So I think it's fitting we plug them in for the Mavs leg 2 since the Mavs have been equally as pathetically bad. But I do think Tulsa will come through and cover the spread here. If not, a fun fact, I believe they will have the worst record against the spread in the history of basketball since they've been tracking spreads. So that's just, one of the reasons I like them. Then we got Kent State. I like them going over. Kent State hasn't gone over much this year. And then for a leg 2, I went with, I'm going to go with a win here. I like Pittsburgh to beat Duke. The reason I like it is because of DeMar Hamlin. A lot of people have brought up the prospect to me of them making a run. There's been a lot of stories about Pitt this year, and I agree. So for the 2-2-2 odds, I do like it as a leg 2 for 2 units. I think it's fitting. And they're getting 6 points. So, yeah, I think I'll just take them for the win here as a leg 2. I think it's worth it for the value. Now, these next 2 were ones I was explaining to you. UNC, I just have them beating Virginia because they're I think they're getting a 1.5 or something. So I'll take the plus 110 instead of, having to get minus 120 for the money line, or, whatever it may be. But, well, the money line would be even, but I'll get a little closer to plus odds here because it's the weird line. I could show you the exact line, but it just looked weird to me. Not crazy weird, but weird. I think they're close. Here we go. So, yeah, we have, only a few games behind them, but Virginia here and 13th ranked, unranked. You look at them on paper. A lot of people have brought up how UNC just has not been themselves this year. So I don't see a lot of people taking them. I think a lot of people are going to be on Virginia here. Same logic with the West Virginia game. I think a lot of people are going to be, just because of the disparity in the records. You see a third-ranked team, and then you see non-ranked, things like that. Six less wins. It's just interesting. It's only a 3-point spread. So for both of them, now if you notice, for West Virginia, I do have them covering. I don't have the win. Because for 3 points, believe it or not, you'd be surprised, just like tonight, how the by a half a point, the Hawks were able to cover. Or I'm sorry, the Hawks got covered by a half a point. Happened, and we had them, -2. So, or -3. So you just never know. So West Virginia here, I'm picking them to cover. I like UNC because it's 1 point. So with that, I'll take, them to win. And I like Pittsburgh to win because of the value. So I just wanted to point that out, that the only one that I'm even though these three are upsets, one of them is basically a 50-50 in UNC. And West Virginia, even though it's only 3 points, I'm taking the points because you'd be surprised. So, and it might move. So I'm going to actually lock it in probably closer to, I'd say, like 10 a.m. I usually lock them in before game time, but not too far before. It might move a little more where we get 4 or 5 points, but it's just odd. It's only 3. So I like that one, but only as a like 1. Hawaii, I like them to cover Cal State, Fullerton. Cal State Fullerton's the best team in the league right now against the spread. And I think more people are going to be on them than Hawaii. As you can see, a lot of these plays are just based off metrics, things like that. And here's my last play. I do like Minnesota here to go over. And it's not just them. It's also Maryland and them haven't gone over a lot this year. So I just feel like, again, good chance people will hit the under on that. So Tulsa's our biggest one, but we got a good bit of leg twos in play. Pitt would pay really nice if we were able to get that. And UAB, I think they go under. There's a lot that I like here. So I think we have a good day. And looking at basketball, I think we have a really good day because there's some teams I just don't see losing. So we got the NBA, but that's not till 7. We got a total of 10 college. I wanted to get them out earlier today. That way people can get them out. And I'll go into hockey as well. I was just, like I said, yesterday a little busier, so I just got the NBA picks out. But today there's a lot of college games I like. So take care and happy earnings.